Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Make sure to listen to our other podcasts like Miguel and Holly Full Show, Miguel and Holly's Blown Off. And if you can, on this one that you're listening to right now, leave us a review and follow the podcast. So if it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio app, just click the little follow button wherever you listen. Well, we're in the home stretch. Tomorrow is the big day.
How are we feeling?
I was feeling great until yesterday. So actually, I do want to talk about this because I would never, am not going to talk about this on the air. I got to go to my very first political rally. It was so cool. If you are new to being in the Platypus Posse, we talk about politics on the podcast, but we do not touch it on the show.
And we don't talk about only politics on the podcast. It's just we touch on it here and there.
Absolutely, when it comes up. And this is one of those things that today was weird because like this would be my can't let it go. Is I'd be like, I can't let go that I got to go to a political rally. And it was so cool. But especially after when I posted about it on my Instagram, I'm like, absolutely not.
I only looked at your story. I just want to pull up your post real quick and see the comments.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get to the negative side of that, and I'll read like the caption and what it says. But just if you've never been to a political rally before, especially this close to an election, and all I could say is for this side of the aisle where I vote, it was a different experience because it was at one of our outdoor venues at the PNC Music Pavilion. So think about if you're in Tampa, the was it the 1-800-ASK Gary, or is it the Skylight Credit?
No,
PNC?
It's I don't even know what it is anymore. But it's not that. It's
PNC.
I just call it the amphitheater. But
whatever the amphitheater is in Tampa.
The one by the Hard Rock.
Oh, sorry, Tampa.
Yeah.
Didn't catch that. My bad.
So just so you can visualize sort of like, it's outdoor. There's a stage. There's like the big awning so you can be underneath it.
Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater.
There we go. So if you've been there, it was like that venue. So we got the email midweek, signed up. Now, just like when you go there, it's in the middle of the day and you're so used to going to concerts like, at night. So that was just cool. And then the security isn't just regular security. This was Secret Service checking you in.
Right.
And so let me tell you, some of these Secret Service agents, henny child. These are some good looking men.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like looking you, but then like, as you're like, how you doing? They're like stone face. There is like not 1 ounce of a joke.
Why
not one
on earth would you try to how you doing a Secret Service?
Well, I didn't in real life be like, how you doing? But you're just like smiling because you're
did it with
excited.
your eyes.
Right. You're just like, oh yeah, this is exciting. And they're like,
shut it down.
They left those emotions at home.
Literally.
To protect.
Yes.
Good for them.
And so you go through and you can just feel the energy as you're like walking through Secret Service. And then like they have a bunch of free stuff. And then of course, when you get to this part where you would normally buy like drinks or get some food, the food stations are open, but all the bars were like closed down. And so we were
imagining we're not trying to get wasted.
Trying to get lit.
Well, and especially because you're there for a long time. And if you're drinking and just sitting in the sun for 4 or 5 hours,
not good.
That would just be a mess.
Yeah.
So they weren't serving any alcohol. So we finally found some seats like towards the back, underneath the awning. And then it's just like they go between like DJs playing, speakers. Like they had the mayor of Charlotte, Vi Lyles, she got up and spoke. Congressman Jeff Jackson, who you see on social media all the time. He's running for attorney general. our Josh Stein, who's running for governor, and then our actual governor, Roy Cooper, got up and spoke. And then this is where I lost my mind, is when Olivia Pope, girl, when Kerry Washington came out, I was like, oh my God, like I lost my mind. I was like, ah. So she got up and then she gave a great speech about, basically saying like, yes, I played Olivia Pope, but Olivia Pope cannot handle or fix this, but here's how you could be your own Olivia Pope by voting. So it was very cute, a nice little wink and a nod. Then they had Khalid come out and he sang. But then like it's kind of weird because this is clearly not a concert.
Right.
And so like just the way it was set up, like you couldn't really see him because then like they didn't have like the big screens up where they had a camera on them.
Okay.
And so like you had to use your phone to sort of zoom in to like see them on stage because they were so small. And then Bon Jovi got up and he sang. People change as they get older.
Yes, they do.
They change as they
what
go.
way?
Their just voice doesn't sound the same.
Ooh.
Well, I saw the video, right? You sent me a video.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, who told him to do a slowed down version of that song?
Yeah. Well, I think that's because also they don't have their full.
No, they're just acoustic or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
it is.
it's like. But then here's what was awkward is he did what song was it, Holly? I sent
it was it Living on a Prayer?
You gotta hold on.
Yeah, Living on a Prayer.
Living on a Prayer. So he's like,
but it was like the slowest.
Right.
I'm like, that song is not meant to be slow. It's meant to be belted out.
Yeah.
You can't do it anymore.
Well, here's what was awkward is that like he was singing and it was like good, but then they had this, I don't know if they're a local band or a local group or local to North Carolina, but it was this black guy, black woman, and they were like singing with him. And so like Bon Jovi sang his part and then the black guy started singing and he hit this high note that everyone was like, yes, boy, you better sing, honey, sing. And then the black woman starts singing and she's hit the high note and everyone's like, yes, girl. And then it went back to Bon Jovi and he was like, we were like, yeah, get it, Bon Jovi. And I'm like, do you at that point, you're like, you know what? I've made my money. I've had my glory. Let me just give the stage and showcase these other talents.
Well, the name is heavier than where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also feel like was he gonna say no?
Right.
Like, especially if he wants to like support.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you do?
Right. It was just that was just a little awkward. Just I'm thinking, but then you know what? I always figure, sort of like with us, that I love helping young talent, and I don't mind taking a back seat if we can like showcase or help out somebody. So I'm like, maybe he's like, oh, I got my money. I've had my moment in the sunshine. Let you all do it. But whoever those people were, they brought the house down. So that was great. And then you could feel the energy started to build because, once you hit the peak of Bon Jovi, then like, all right, Kamala's coming out next. So then they were like, welcome out Vice President Kamala Harris. It was fantastic. Here's the only thing that I didn't like about how it was all set up. Because they didn't have the big screens underneath the awning, right after Bon Jovi was done and right before Vice President Harris came on, they started handing out all the signs, the political signs that you hold up and you shake every time they say something that you agree with.
Yeah.
So then like this whole, like our whole strategy every time someone came out is we would get our phones out, zoom in so we could see.
Yeah.
Girl, all those damn signs were up. I couldn't see her like the first 2 minutes because people were like, yes! And we're like,
why didn't they have the screens going? You still would want to see.
Right, but they had the screens up so because actually the lawn section was filled up too.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw from some fan members on their Instagram stories, if they were on the lawn, they had the two screens on the outside of the awning where they had cameras on it for there.
But not the inside.
But not the inside.
Oh.
So we couldn't see until finally after she was like, all right, sit down. And then I was like, I got my chance now. So then I was like, let me see what she looks like since she's here. And so she gave a really amazing speech. Some friends of ours that Kelvin knows too, I don't know how, I should have asked him before today. But when I did zoom in at one point when we first got there, he was like, him and his partner, they were like right behind the lectern And
how did they get to that spot?
I don't know.
I always
works
feel like
for
that's
NPR.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that. I don't know. I always feel like somebody with some kind of connection or like even a dignitary or two or their family members get to be there.
I don't know, but I was like, bitch, how you get up there like that? But it was just so cool to see him because he's a Black gay man and he was feeling the emotions, as I was feeling them, just seeing a Black woman on stage and whatnot. And then just everybody there was just so nice. And here's where like we're all like streaming out and everyone's like talking and hugging and because we were there from like 1:30 until about 5:15, 5:30.
Dang.
So we were there for a long day. And so then I was like, let's see how nice people are getting out of this damn parking lot. Because nobody like waited, or nobody left early. Everyone waited until they saw Vice President Harris. Girl, we were in that parking lot for an hour and a half.
Oh my God.
Oh.
And I don't know where the parking lot people went, but they disappeared. So people were trying to get out on all different ways. But
oh no, ma'am.
Everybody was so nice. I did not hear a horn. What the F are you doing? Like everybody was just like basking in the joy of the day. So that was really cool to see. Now, if they would have been serving alcohol, it probably would have been a different story.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't.
I'm super glad they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like halfway through, I was like, man, I'd really love like a White Claw or something right now. But
nope.
Thankfully they didn't.
Sober event.
Right.
Yeah.
Yay.
So that was the really fun part.
Yeah.
So then if you go to my Instagram.
I know. I just looked at because I wanted to hear your story first, but then I gotta
at Miguel Fuller.
Yeah.
So I put together just some clips of just us being there and everything that we experienced. And I wrote a little post because I knew I was posting it on my Instagram feed, not on just the story. But I wanted to make it very clear that I didn't want it back and forth. And I wasn't even going to try to tell you all the reasons why you should vote for Kamala Harris. I'm like, make your own decision. I'm not here to try to convince you one way or the other. My post was about how the reason why I was so emotional is because I thought about my grandmother, who's since passed, and how when she was young, she couldn't vote. And it wasn't until the 60s that she was able to vote. And so I thought, how meaningful would it be for her to see a Black woman on stage?
Right.
So my post said, just got back from my first political rally, and wow, what an incredible experience. It was so inspiring to see such a diverse, joyful crowd, all united by a shared message of hope and change. Witnessing democracy in action like this was truly moving. I couldn't help but think of my grandmother who lived through the civil rights movement in the Jim Crow South. I wish you were here to see a Black woman standing proudly on stage, leading the charge for progress. Yes, we all have political differences, and critiquing any candidate is fair, but this post isn't about that. It's just about sharing the moment I experienced and the hope it inspired. That was it.
Which is good. It was a nice sentiment. Well,
Here
it
we are.
was a nice sentiment.
Here we are. So since that was posted, I have lost, I think it was 70 followers. That was what I checked. Oh no, 68.
How did you see that, by the way? I can only see I can't see day of. I can only see like the week ago or whatever.
So I didn't really notice it at first because I posted it and then I went to go post it on my like page, the reel. And when you log into under the business side of your our like pages, it tells you the number of Instagram followers if it's linked together, and it tells you the actual number.
Right.
And I was like, let me just make a mental note of that number just to see what happens. And then when I would go back to it and just refresh, and you could see the number drop.
Okay.
Drop.
I thought it was in like a stat on Instagram because I was like, I clearly am missing this stat. Not that I rarely ever look or care or anything. But people unfollow for crazy ass reasons. I lost a bunch of followers when I posted about Taylor Swift. Like when I posted, it was like a joyous thing for me and Maya to go to.
That's so
and
weird.
I got a couple followers, but I lost like 10 or 15. I was like, y'all haters? Like,
Taylor
what are
Swift.
you doing? I was like,
F
I don't
you and
know.
your family.
Oh, maybe they hate Taylor Swift, but I thought they just hated Joyful.
Even then, like I don't care about Taylor Swift, and like that was the best video ever.
Right.
I thought it was just joyful. I was like, even if you
Yeah.
don't like Taylor Swift, this is really cataloging Maya's excitement. But I think some people just really hate when other people are happy. So
It was just wild. And so then like the comments started coming in, unfollowed. And I was like, ChatGPT, please help me come up with a respectful, nice sentiment where I could be like, all right, well, you know what? Thank you for the years that we shared of laughs and fun times. It sucks that you feel you need to unfollow because of this, but I hope you have a great day.
Mm.
And then people were like just going in on it. And here's where I'm just like, can we just not? Because like I have friends and people that I know that are Trump supporters, and I still follow them. A couple of them I've muted because I think the stuff that they do post on their story is not factual and it's just blatantly wrong. And it's not even opinion. It's just like they are giving false information.
Mm.
And so for that, I mute. But if you're just giving information about the party and the people that you are voting for, I'm not going to unfriend you because of that. But if you post untruthful, hurtful, damaging, or not damaging, hateful things,
Mhm.
then I will unfollow you. But I'm not going to unfollow you because you're voting for someone, even Trump. And so for me, and especially these people that I'm like, also, do you not know, like, have you not looked at my Instagram story, like what I post about?
Right.
Like,
It's not a shock.
Have we met Miguel Fuller?
right.
But maybe not. Like, I suppose that's what my first take was. I was like, who did they think they were following in the first place? But
Right.
maybe if you have been truly just not paying attention
Right.
ever, maybe it was a big surprise.
Right.
Or maybe they knew, but they didn't want to see that.
Right. And
Never thought that you would post something like that.
how
Right.
dare you?
Like, you're allowed to like it,
right.
but don't show it.
Right.
Maybe that. Maybe that to me makes a little bit more sense now.
And
that I
maybe
think that.
so, but I hate that this is where we are. And Vanessa, thank you so much. She said, Miguel, I will literally make 70 new accounts just to follow you. F those people. Please do not do that. Because listen, at the end of the day,
do it for me.
You can do it for at Kelvin Live.
Please.
I do not care. And to me, if you're going to unfollow me, when I could see if I was like going on a rant or something and posted about it, yeah, okay, whatever. But I'm like, if you're that way and you were like, I'm gonna follow you because you posted about that, I'm unfollowing you because of your joy, then you know what? That I don't want you in my circle. Because if we're ever going to heal and come back together as a country, because we have to at some point have to come back from the brink. We have to at some point start to make amends and to start to get back to where we were, or even find a new space to where we can be like, hey, you think differently than I do, but I don't think that you're an evil person because of it. We have to come back from that. So that was my experience yesterday dealing with after the joyful moment of the rally.
You should have either not allowed comments or just not looked at it the rest of the day. Just take a break. Take a break. Don't post and go.
Right.
Just post and
go.
Post and go. Go touch grass.
Right.
Like we say. No. It's unfortunate that you went from such a high to a really discouraging low.
Yeah. But I'm hoping we'll get back. So anyway, that was my sort of big headline from the weekend. Holly, what was yours?
Oh gosh. So it was not supposed to be my weekend with Maya, but she had this like a thespian competition situation for middle schoolers all in the district. Was pretty big. And so I originally they sent out this email. They're like, you need to be there no later than 8:30 a.m.
Oh.
And just so you know, the closing ceremony will probably take place at 6 and it might last an hour and a half. So it's gonna be a late night. I was like, what? So
was this IEs?
What?
IEs? Is that what it's called?
No, what is that?
Oh, that's a thespian competition that we would have in South Florida.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is. It's just, I'm not sure what the name of it, the full title was. And like they had asked for chaperones, and I was like, I can't commit to a whole day like that. And then I also didn't know, is it going to be me? Is her dad taking her? Like, what are we doing? Well, it ended up, I took her in the morning, and then I was like, can I just drop her off and go? But then I was like, but then no one's watching her. Like, no, she didn't have a parent there. And so then I was like, well, the first thing is at 9, and then her next thing was at 1. I'll just leave after 1. And so I stayed, and it was a lot because there's just children everywhere. There's like, you got to rush from one thing to the next, and where are we going? And it was a lot. It was, thank God I had brought some water with me because it was hiking. So it was all this. And then her second event, which was a duet, is done. And I was like, oh, I'm going to leave. But there was no good time because we're rushing from one room to the next. And I didn't want to be like, okay, deuces, because also she had her whole backpack in my car in which she was going to take to her dad's house later that night. I would have to go back and get it, give it to her as she's carting around like this heavy ass backpack. I was like, meanwhile, this is supposed to be my, day to just do nothing or like home things, go out to dinner with my fiance. And so I ended up not being able to actually even leave until about 4:15.
Oh,
I was there. And then that
Jesus
turned into a
Christ.
whole thing because there was another parent there that was like, well, we can take Maya home. And I was like, well, her dad, she's going to her dad's house, and that's not in your way. And they're like, we really don't mind. We're here anyway. And so then I had called him early on, and I was like, these people can bring her home. Do you want to do that? Because it's keep in mind, it's an hour away from our houses. So he's like, oh, yeah, if they can bring her. And so then we get to close to the end of the day, and I was like, that seemed like a good idea until I realized I'm leaving. Now he's not going to come pick her up, so no one's going to be with her at night. And so she's like, why isn't dad going to be here? And I was like, well, it's a It was a whole ass mess. I did leave though, and I gave her the option because she was done at that point, because I said, I'm leaving. I cannot stay here anymore. If we stay all the way through the closing ceremonies and then I take you to dad's and then I'm not getting home till 9 p.m. Maya. I can't.
Girl, that's your whole.
I can't. And so I felt pretty proud of myself, even though that sounds stupid because like, just stay for your kid, right? Well, I had stayed. I had watched all her things.
Girl, you've been there all day.
And then I had
nothing
also
else
found
to stay
out
for.
what she earned. Like I knew that she was not a critic's choice, but I learned she got an excellent in her duet. So that's great. She was a little bummed that she didn't get superior, but I'm like, first of all, you're in 6th grade. And this is the first time you ever did this. So be really proud of the excellent. So we do all this. And then I'm like, I can't. I was not even planning to stay the whole day ever. And that was never in the plans. So I said, you can come home with me now and I'll drop you to dad's house and then I'm going home. Or you can stay for the closing ceremonies and participate with your friends and everything. And then this other parent's going to take you to dad's. She didn't like either one of those options. She's like, no, I want you to stay. And I'm like, Maya, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this. She's crying. Everyone now thinks she's crying because of her score, but she's crying because it was like, and then I was like, really, I felt the guilt gnawing at me. But I was like, I want to go home, because also we had planned to go out and have a day, like so we get the every other weekend, my fiance and I together with no kids. And so then the next time, like we're having a big party at our house and we won't have another weekend where we get anyway. So I was like, I'm leaving. I love you. I'm proud of you. This was amazing. You can come right now. You coming? No. Well, okay. Then you got this. And I left.
Deuces.
I left. But I think she was fine. After that. And so the other parent brought her to her dad's house, and that was the end of that. And so that was like a long day on Saturday.
I remember reading or listening to a podcast about how as millennial parents that like we have a hard time making those sort of decisions because we want to be there for our kids. Because so often when we were growing up, like, girl, my mom was gone half the time because it was a single parent household. So there was just physically no way for someone to always be there.
Right.
So I had to learn how to cook for myself and how to like go to the store by myself and all these things. And so we sometimes as millennials try to make up for that. But I feel like that you're teaching your daughter that like things, first off, you got to make sure that you're okay first before you can help other people. And obviously you did as much as you could to be there for her. But at the end of the day, like, you have given all that you can. You need to go fill your cup up so you can be the best mom possible.
And I have other relationships in life. Not to say that they're more important than her.
But you do have other relationships.
I do have other relationships, and I did give to her first.
Right.
First and foremost, that day I gave to her. And then when she was all done, she just wanted me to be there. I'm like, you're not even going to be. No, this is the part where I'm leaving.
You
so
did go
I think
above
it was
and
good.
beyond.
I think what I did was the right thing. And then I was able to get home, and then we actually did end up, because my fiance I'm going back with him all day because I was supposed to be home by 2. And he's like, we had dinner plans. And I was like, I might have to stay for the whole thing now. Like, what if, I don't want her to be alone. And so we were going back and forth. And then he's like, well, I'm just like a little bummed, but like, obviously do what you think is best. It's fine either way.
Right.
And so then I was able to get home by like, 5:15. And so grab a shower, and then we actually got to have a really nice dinner. We sat outside in downtown St. Pete, which was beautiful. It was such a great dinner. We had not had like a little date night like that. So I was really glad that we got to do that. And I feel like I filled everybody's tank and including my own on Saturday. So it was such a long day.
Shannon said, Holly, you provided an opportunity for Maya to be independent. It was a growth opportunity. The world does not revolve around these kids. It's an important lesson. No, I said exactly, Shannon. Definitely a learning moment.
Right.
I think there's different dynamics too, because of course there is the other situation, which is like mom and dad live at home, right?
Right.
But that's not your situation.
Correct.
Like, y'all are separated. Wasn't even your weekend.
Right.
And
right.
I know that you're not the type to speak on the other person, the other parents.
I'm not.
But I will. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I know, because you wouldn't like that. But I will
think
say,
we can all read between
and I'll just leave it at that. It was not your motherfucking weekend. So you did way more than you were supposed to, because that's how your thing is set up. Not in the lack of you don't love Maya and you don't support her.
But that's the other thing. Like, I never want her to feel like she is unwelcomed or unwanted or whatever. So like, if there's an opportunity that needs filling, you bet your ass I'm gonna fill it, because that's just what we do.
Right.
Don't you? What did you say that? No, don't say that.
For once in my brain, I was not there, and I was like, "What are you saying?"
Kelvin's face. I saw his face. So yeah,
if there's a hole to fill, Holly's gonna be there.
Yep. God bless. We're talking about children's things.
No, well, yeah.
Anyway, so that was a long, but ultimately, I think good for everybody. Like a learning growth. Everybody walked away okay,
right?
Pretty much. So Maya and I talked about different things, and then that was that. And so I haven't seen her because she stays now over there on Sunday nights, and then he'll just take her to school today, Monday. So I haven't seen her, but I'll pick her up, and then I'm sure she'll be fine. And she was texting me a little bit yesterday, so that was good. But what else? There was a little bit of like a little bit of drama between some of the girls, which it's reminding me that we're getting into middle school now, and things are a little bit more dramatic. And so like, I wish that she got texting with this year. She had like Facebook Messenger kids texting. It's like, whatever. I have the complimentary parent app where I can see everything that happens. But she got actual texting on her iPad this year. And so I wish that I could almost take it back away, because there's like these group chats that are either annoying, dramatic, create issues where there should be none. Sometimes kids will text her at like 9:30 on a school night. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what these children's are doing, but I was like, like, it woke her up one time because I make her go to bed early. She's an early bird. So I just wish sometimes I could turn the texting off, but that was the thing. We had to get through a little bit of that. And so other than that, the other thing that I was really proud of myself for this weekend was, I'm a handy person. I like to put things together. I want to solve the issues at the house. If I can do it myself, great. I was so fucking pissed about our shower head in our main shower, like our bathroom off our bedroom. It had gone down to like a trickle. I was barely able to wash my hair, and I sometimes have a hard time getting my fiance to like get on board and like do some shit with me because I'm a go-getter. And sometimes he's like, we'll get to it. And I'm like, when? When are we getting to it? We got up bright and fucking early and we went to Home Depot and we looked for a shower head and he was on board too. And then we got it home and then we're reading the directions and he's reading something. He's like something thread seal tape. And I'm like, what did you say? And he's like, thread seal tape, put that on. I'm like, we don't have whatever that is. And he's like, do we need it? I'm like, yes, probably. We have to go back out to the store, which he did without complaint, which he gets frustrated at these things. So I was like, sorry, you're going to have to do it the right way. We took apart the shower head, put the thread seal tape on, figured things out. We had to redo it like 5 different times. And I'm very proud of him and his new mood stabilizers because he did not lose his shit all the way.
Yes.
At one point, he's like, I need to take a break. I need to take a break from this. I'll be fine. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to have a snack. And I'll come back and finish this, which he did. And we finished it that final time. Like we literally had to like put the thing in the wall, take it out, put it in, take it out. And every time that we had to take it out, he was like, I'm going to kill this thing. I'm going to kill it. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. And then we finally, at the final time, wrapped it up, did it, put it in. And we both had the best showers on the planet on Sunday and yesterday.
Yes.
It was such a good feeling because like, you know, you're showering every day. If you're annoyed by some aspect of your shower, like to me, I sometimes dread the thought of going into the shower, but once you get in there, it should be a nice, pleasurable experience. It hadn't been. And I would be like, first of all, dreading the shower and then getting in being pissed off. So now it is a nice, strong stream of water to cut through my hair. God, I love it. I'm just so pleased with our shower head installation.
Save that.
Okay, I know that's the most boring thing you've ever heard, but it was a big deal to me.
No, I
love a good stream.
Well, yes.
So at our house in St. Pete, that part of one of the, if you're new to the Platypus Posse, it was on HGTV's 100-Day Dream Home, and popular to contrary, I believe, like we paid for the house.
Right.
People thought that like we were given a house. No,
Right.
we paid for the house. But one of the perks that you do, because HGTV doesn't pay you to be on it, they don't pay for the house, is they do give you a certain for whatever sponsors they have. Like our lighting fixtures were given to us through the show from some of their sponsors.
You have
like
a time machine.
Some perks.
He has this time machine that like I don't know, dries your like dry cleans it. I don't know.
It's so a weird. Yes.
Yeah.
We can't quite. Maya will tell that to people. She'd be like, "Well, I was in Miguel's house, and there's this crazy like washer and dryer thing."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Yes,
So
there is."
cool.
So it's like what it does is it steams your clothes, and it can clean them or like basically dry clean them almost. So like that was part of the package. Well, part of the package was this super expensive shower head for the main bathroom.
Yes.
I fucking hate it.
Why? I loved it.
No, not the one in the guest room. The one in the main bathroom.
Your
Like
bedroom.
the master
Yeah.
bath.
I
off
love
the
your bedroom one. I don't like the guest one.
Oh no, because the one, it's like 3 spigots that's up on the ceiling, and so it comes straight down like a waterfall, and it's supposed to simulate that.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the ceilings are so high that once it comes down, no matter how hot the water is, it's still lukewarm when it gets you.
It's so tall that it cools off.
It cools
I love
off. And then because, like obviously since we've moved, I've grown my hair out. So like I wear a shower cap most of the time.
Yeah.
And so then it's like it's like the poor shower cap is fighting for its life to keep my head cold or covered. And so I just, every time we stay at the house, I'm like, fuck the shower. And so
you understand.
So that's why I say that I get it. Because I said that if we ever move back into that house, I will rip it out with my bare hands because I do not like it. Or at least lower it down to where it's not cold by the time it reaches my body.
Man, I love that shower. I had a great time. I don't know. The other one, I felt like the pressure was a little lower. It's so beautiful though.
I mean,
love
yeah,
how
it
you have
looks
your
nice,
shower
yeah.
curtains.
Yeah, but so I get you. I get you when
I'm
it comes to
saying
that.
like it's a big deal. So now every day I can actually like have and the shower went so much faster because like the other one, it was like a decent size, round,
Mm.
kind of like that waterfall style. But it was like come down, and it had, I don't know, because we have really hard water, so I'm sure the little spigots things were starting to get clogged and all this, and maybe even the filter or something. But the pressure was so low, like I would soap up and I would have to just stand and it would slowly get some of the soap off. And I'm like having to move all around and just wait for the soap to come off. And I was like, this is, but it's better now.
That's another thing. That we have a water softener in that house too, and
Oh.
you never feel like you're full, like the soap is off of you because the
'Cause
water's
it's
so soft.
soft.
And so then like it always takes me a minute whenever we do stay there because I'm like, oh, there's still soap on me, but the water's just like super soft, and I'm like, give me that
But
hard
that is
water
not.
back.
It's nice though because your clothes and your hair don't have that
Yeah.
film on it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
just give me that hard water, girl. So Kelvin, what was the highlight or the headline for your weekend?
The headline. I have many headlines, I feel. Friday, I went to my niece's birthday party, and it was a bunch of fucking Gen Zers. Oh, God, what a difference this
You
generation
are
is.
almost a Gen Z.
But I'm not.
Oh.
This is my house. This is my house. And so the headline there was that my niece, she does tarot card readings.
Ooh,
and
fun.
I've never done it before. And I was like,
This is my house.
and that's what she told me. And I was like, fine, let's do it. I was like, why not? I bought her queer tarot cards. And she was like, oh, I haven't used these yet. And I was like, perfect, give me those, because she gave me options for certain cards. And I was like, give me that one. Give me that one. So she did it, and it was actually really good. Like she of course, it was pretty general. It was very much like, you know, your past is very dark and you're getting over it, because I got the devil card as my first one that represented the past. But it was reversed, which means that I'm like getting away from that past and like I'm working out of that trauma. And then my present and future were actually pretty hopeful as well. So I felt like, okay, great. Like that's my one and only. I'm not curious anymore. I'm good. It was a good tarot card reading.
Okay.
So just work on my dreams, work on the projects that I want to work on, and like the future, I will be rewarded for it. It's kind of like the general gist of what I got from that. And other than that, it was great. I was hanging out with my family in Winston-Salem, so that was great. Then Saturday, I think Saturday is probably my major headline. So we have a coworker named Cool Beans here. She's over at the Woody and Wilcox morning show, and she is this like really cool, laid back, down to earth, like just she's just here for a good time.
Yeah.
She leaves here, like she comes in at 6, leaves at 10, goes to her CPA job. Like she does taxes all day. So whenever I get to hang out with her, like it's always like we're always just cracking up. And she's obsessed with Justin Timberlake. So I had told her, I was like, well, what are you gonna wear for this concert? This is like your 4th one. She's obsessed with this man. And she was like, I just wear my tiara, my t-shirt, and my jeans that I wear every day with my Crocs. And I was like, Cool Beans, come on. You
gotta wear something special.
Yes.
To the concert.
It's gonna be your 4th time seeing him.
Yeah, girl.
And she drops money on these concerts. Like she is 3rd row, 2nd row in some of them. She travels to be 1st row. Like
oh my gosh.
I think she's gonna be 3rd row, 4th row for the Charlotte show.
Oh.
And so I told her, I'm like, what do you like? Absolutely not. No t-shirt and jeans. What are you talking about?
Crocs?
Crocs.
Get out.
And so I'm not mad at it for here, but
right,
for
no,
the concert,
absolutely not. No,
Right.
but 4th row of Justin Timberlake concert, you can't be wearing your work attire there.
Correct. So I had told her about Juicy Body Goddess. We had her on the podcast actually a few months ago, and just like all the inspirational content that she posts on her social media. So for those who don't know, she owns this boutique in North Lake Mall, which is like about 20-ish minutes from here. And it only serves women, bigger women.
Like plus size, I guess.
Plus size, yes. So her entrance line is always, welcome to Juicy Body Goddess, where you got to be to something to do something. And I had showed her some of the videos, and she was like, you know what? Yeah, why don't we go? And months passed by, and I was like, she never did it. It's fine. I'm not going to push her to go to the store. And then finally, we had a random conversation in the hallway, and I was telling her, hey, you never booked it. Like, I'm still available this weekend to go with you. Justin's coming in like 2 weeks. She was like, fine, I'll book it. Saturday, 1 p.m. Are you free? And I was like, absolutely.
Yes.
I will go with you. And so we go. You have to get a reservation, because the workers there will will actually consult and pick things out for you and figure out
You get
what
measurements and all this stuff.
yeah, all the things. And so we go there, we meet Cassie, and she's kind of like jotting down all the information, like, hey, what's your style like? What's your budget? What's this? And I think she was talking about some sort of like rock band. And I was like, oh, like she's part of like an alternate, what is it? Alternative
radio
a radio
station.
station. And so she was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, she's from the Woody and Wilcox show. And she was like, what? I was like, this is Cool Beans. And she was like, are you serious? I'm obsessed with you. I love the show. I've even Googled you.
Oh my God.
I have no idea what you look like. I love you. And you are one of my favorites. And like, at that point, I had to take my camera out and record it. And I recorded that whole interaction. And it was just, she was playing it cool. She was like, oh, stop it. No, stop it. So I just love seeing that for Cool Beans, because I don't know if she's able to get that many interactions in that regard. And so I love that for her. It just felt so good. And that's just how this whole thing started. So I felt like she was able to kind of even lower her guard a little bit too, just starting that experience. Because for those who don't know, I don't think Cool Beans has said it herself. She does not like shopping. I don't like shopping either. So I totally understood what she was going for. So that's how this whole experience started. And if you haven't seen Juicy Body Goddess's video, like all her clients, it's all about uplifting, making these plus size women feel beautiful, get outfits that really complement their shape. And Cool Beans is stunning. Like, she has her waist is snatched. She does have, big jugs.
Big mamas.
Big mamas. And she knew it. And I was just really surprised at some of the things that she was picking out, because she was like, I want that mini skirt. Like, I want that skirt. I want that. And there was, Holly, I don't know what you call them, the flowy pants.
Like gaucho pants almost, or like palazzo
Palazzos,
pants?
that. I was like, the Italian palazzo. That. There were some pants that looked really good on her. She got this like bodysuit sort of shirt that just like really complimented her body, and like she realized she needed like, some different things. But at the end of the day, she ended up getting an outfit. I was so happy to be a part of it.
Oh my gosh.
She left out of there feeling good and confident in her outfit. She tried things out of her comfort zone. I got to see her in a gown and dress and things like that. And so
I love that.
On top of that, I saw somebody else shopping for a dress too, and they were being uplifted right then and there. And so it was just such a great experience. The owner of the boutique was there, Summer. She made it very well known to be there, because I had messaged her beforehand saying, hey, I really want to meet you. And she was like, I'm not really going in, but I will pop in to say hi. And so she was there the whole time. She was working. Like, she wasn't just going to pop in. So she was helping multiple clients, and it was just so uplifting. I loved it. It was so great.
Awesome. I'm happy for Cool Beans too.
Yeah.
Do we get to see a preview of her outfit, or is she saving it until the concert night?
I don't know. I should ask her.
Yeah.
Now, I saw in the picture that you posted that you had a bag in your hand.
I did.
Was that you carrying a bag for Cool Beans, or did you buy something there?
Oh gosh, I didn't really want to talk about this. But
we don't have to. I just saw it in the picture and I was like, oh.
I bought a oversized jacket, and I thought it looked really cool. Like, I felt really cool and I felt really stylish. I showed it to my fiance, and he was like, that's a choice. And I was like, it's oversized, it's stylish, it's really cool. And he was like, the jacket is like, he is a visual merchandiser. He knows what he talks about when it comes to fashion. Anytime I wear something and you compliment me on it, it's 9 times out of 10 his. So I do take what he says very seriously when it comes to fashion and like how it fits well in my body shape.
As you say this, I looked up at you and you have your Dave's Hot Chicken hat on with the chicken on it. And I'm like, did Oscar pick that out, or did you pick that hat out?
Girl, I don't have there's no rhyme or reason. And you know what? This morning I was supposed to wear green shorts, and I was like, nah, I'm going to get ranked on for wearing a green sweater and green shorts. Anyways, so I came back with it, and he was like, he was not a big fan of it. He was like, it's not because the jacket's ugly. It's because it makes you look short. It's oversized, and it's fit for a woman with curves, not for you. And since I'm not filling it out, it goes straight down.
That makes sense.
So yeah,
it's not made for you. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
so
it's just shapes at this point.
Yes,
like what I always say. Like I used to tell my fiance that too, because he would wear stuff that's too big.
Right.
in thinking like, oh, I'm gonna cover any like little faults that there may be, and I'm like, you would look so much better if you just wore clothes that fit.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And we're finally at that point now.
Yeah.
We're like, yes, wear the clothes that fit your body. And that
Yes.
unfortunately wasn't for you.
No, it wasn't. But I have a plan B for it, and yeah. So that was the situation. It was a hard pill to swallow, but it also I wasn't gonna get super offended by it because I was like, you're right, fine.
Right.
I did get excited about the whole experience. I was happy even then to just support. I really was.
You just
I
caught
really,
up in the moment. You're like,
Yeah.
I want to participate and I want to look good too.
Exactly. So overall, Cool Beans was just like, thank you so much for taking me out of my comfort zone. Like, I never do this. And like,
Yeah.
this was such a fun experience. Because at one point she was like, you can go. And I was like, girl, I'm here for the whole time. Like, I'm not here for this 1 hour appointment.
Right.
We were there much longer. But I was having a great time. So yeah, that was
It's so nice.
Yes.
Everybody deserves to feel good in their clothes.
yes.
Mhm.
And especially as much money as we spend on it. It's just, and I feel like I've just recently discovered that because I feel like that's why my fashion sense can be just kind of like blah, because the weight I've fluctuated with through the years, where I'm just like, you know what, I'm tired of being stressed out about shopping, so I'm just gonna buy extra large of everything, and I'm gonna just wear these athleisure pants because they're stretchy and I don't have to worry about anything. But now since I've lost weight and I've gotten more comfortable in my skin, it's nice to be able to put clothes on that complement my body and make me look good and make me feel good.
Mhm.
And so everybody should be able to experience something like that.
It's kind of like unlocking a new level in a video game. Like when
Yes.
you lose weight, you're able to kind of like play around a little bit more.
Yes.
And that's not to say that like, bigger guys can't, but as a bigger person, like it is harder for me to kind of
They don't make
figure
clothes.
things out.
You
Yeah.
can't go to
No.
a store
Right.
necessarily, depending on what size you are. You can't necessarily go to a store and have like your just pick of the litter. You
Mhm.
have to special order or
Yes.
whatever the case may be. So I definitely get that.
And fast fashion is not great to bigger people.
No.
Like,
Oh, absolutely
I
not.
have to get
Mm-mm.
like triple like XL,
Right.
when in reality I might be just an XL. But now that I cut my titties off, like I'm L in certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
I don't know. Like it's just a whole mind fuck for me. So I don't necessarily like shopping, but I'm very different when I go out. I will say that. I look like shit at work, but when I go out, it is different. I always have a good outfit on when I go
You
out.
do. I mean, listen, we wake up early, so I mean,
Thank you.
Nobody
It's,
should be judging
no.
us radio like I know we do video now, but like still, I mean, I'm having to put makeup on at 4:45 in the morning.
Oof.
Okay, it's just a
No,
wonder that we're
I
here close.
that part.
So just no one be judging.
Well, Kelvin, how can people find pictures and videos of your experience with Cool Beans Juicy Body Goddess?
Yes, I've lost followers since posting a few things. So
About
No.
Juicy Body Goddess?
no, about other
Oh.
things.
Politics.
Maybe.
Mm.
Politics. At Kelvin Live, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram.
Holly,
Radio Holly, Instagram, Threads, TikTok.
if you want to see about my experience at the Vice President Kamala Harris rally,
Or if you want to unfollow.
If you want to hate on it.
you want to hate on it, hey, engagement is engagement,
Yes.
girl. I haven't gotten a
Absolutely.
reel with this many views in a minute, so
Yes.
come on, Cletus. Go to @Miguel Fuller on Instagram. Hey, tomorrow, remember at the end of the day, after tomorrow, after we vote, that person that's your next door neighbor, your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, that's still going to be your mom, your dad, your neighbor. So let's all, from all sides, keep that in mind as we get through tomorrow.
Yeah, next podcast we do, we're gonna have some information.
Yes, we will. I'll have to remember that myself, depending upon how this goes. So here we go. Stay safe. We'll see you on the other.